Hey, what's up my friends? Welcome to my YouTube channel. My name is Victor and today I'm going to share with you 3 ways to lift the burden of resentment. I know you can feel it now. You can feel the physical weight of resentment energy in your aura, in your being. It taints your thinking, it affects your mood, and therefore affects your life in a profound way. It's not easy to let go of resentment, though, when we are truly screwed over by somebody, when it was on all levels just wrong of the person or whatever. At the same time, regardless, it's not about that. It's about liberating yourself from that resentment energy, which is just like a big ball and chain. But again, it's not easy to do. It's something that in the past would take me a long, long time, and now I can do it very quickly. And I'm going to share with you what I do anyways that can help me really quickly. I don't really have resentments. I don't have any, honestly. Not that I can think of in my conscious mind, but there was a time in my life where I had a lot of resentments. And especially on like a moment, as I would go through life, I would pick them up. And something that was maybe more relevant, I would be up all at night with a monkey mind, thinking and ruminating, and that just doesn't happen to me anymore. So I'm going to share with you what I do, and hopefully it can work for you as well if you find yourself struggling with resentment. Number one, just like if you go to a 12-step program, they say the first step is admitting you have a problem, is recognizing there's an issue here. You have to really feel motivated in a sense to let go of the resentment. Some people derive a lot of egoic gratification from being pissed off at the world, but because they see their identity is sort of grown from that. So in a sense, in their mind, they benefit from it. They benefit from their resentment. It gives them a feeling of being somebody. You are awakening, most of you watching my channel, and you're not going to be able to let go of resentment if you don't actually want to. You have to be sufficiently motivated. And for that to happen, you have to really start to be able to perceive, again, as I mentioned in the beginning, the weight of it, the gravity of it. And you'll see how it plays out in your life. Like, I'll give an example. A few years back, I don't know, a little while back, I owned a personal training gym. And sometimes a client would just quit or be rude or something, and my partner, he would call me and be like, oh, so-and-so quit. And I would be with my family, hanging out, having dinner or something, and I would immediately be like, I'd have that resentment, I would just have that negative, resistant resentment energy. And I'd get off the phone with my buddy, and all of a sudden, my mood would completely shift. And I would go from having an amazing time with my family, very light and joyful, to in a very sullen and resentful mood. And my family would feel it. I would feel it. I'd feel guilty that I allowed that to affect my mood. I couldn't help it. But eventually it got to a point where I was like, this has got to stop. I can't really continue holding on to these resentments because they really will affect my moment-to-moment life with the people I love. So if that's happening for you, that's step one. Number two, it can be very helpful to put yourself in the person you're ticked off at's shoes. I'll give a really interesting example. A while back, I shared a story on my YouTube channel about how one of the reasons I believe I started to go through life in a very fearful and self-conscious way was there was this one time when I was a little kid, and it was time to play soccer for the first time. I was like 6 years old. I had my neighbor buddies. We were all there. I had my little uniform on, but I was intimidated. I didn't want to. I was like, oh, this is just too much. I was used to my core circle of friends, and I was just very nervous about it. And I just kind of protested and said, I don't want to play. I don't want to do this. And my parents, they didn't really make me do it. In my video, I was saying, I wish they would have made me do it, kind of threw me into the flames so I could adapt and realize that I could actually have fun and there's nothing really to fear. But I learned that it's okay to quit in those situations when you're nervous. And my mom, she was telling me, like, I saw that video, and I just want to say for the record that during that exact time, that was a few days after that time in my life, a few days after both of my parents quit smoking cigarettes cold turkey. So that you can imagine from their perspective, they smoked for a long time. My dad, 20 years, my mom at least 10 or 15 years, and they quit abruptly, cold turkey, pack a day, and there's their little protesting, fiery little 6-year-old son, I don't want to play, having a little tantrum. I can now see why they would say, screw it, fine, let's get the hell out of here. So it can be very helpful to do that, because now I can see, wow, I'm not sure I would have probably done the same thing as a parent. It's not easy sometimes when your kids are flipping out in public. I get it. That was more of an easier example. Some people who are abused, that's not easy, and I'm not saying it is. But most people who do something really bad to another person have had things just as bad, if not worse, done to them, and that they kind of learned that, and they're unconscious, and they unconsciously play that out. So I've had that where I've been wronged in a more obvious way, and I've had to kind of analyze the situation like that, like say, you know what, let's look at this person and who they are. What was their family like? Were they given all the opportunities I was given? No. So it makes sense then why they would maybe have chosen that, and that choice makes no sense to me and doesn't resonate. But we come from different walks of life, and in that, just taking the time to really place myself in their shoes, it can be very helpful to creating that logical decision to let it go. And thirdly, I'm going to give you an actual technique, something more concrete that you can do that I believe will help you a lot. I suggested this, I learned it not too long ago, and I suggested it to one of my clients. She's kind of going through an awakening herself, and she's waking up to a lot of childhood stuff, breeding a lot of awareness of resentment. Like, wow, I was really screwed over big time by my parents and so forth. And this client of mine, she's really into writing. She's got this technique where she just writes out her problems and her issues, and she said she can write very quickly and fill up a lot of pages, and that's a way that she uses to kind of lift emotional burdens, not even only resentment, it's other stuff as well. And she was explaining to me that this situation was kind of like a resentment-themed issue that was coming up to the present. And I suggested to her, why don't you do the same thing? I said, do your thing with the writing. Write it out. Write out an apology or a letter to the person or whatever, and then burn it. Watch it go up in flames and turn to nothing before your very eyes. And use that as a physical metaphor for letting that finally go. You'll now associate that burning piece of paper with all that content which was fueled by that resentment as being gone and no longer localized in your being, holding you down, rather spread out and reabsorbed by the cosmos. So anyways, my friends, I hope that can help you let go of those resentments. I know it's not easy. You don't have to condone what anyone does to you, but again, the resentment energy is not serving you any way you want to look at it. So I wish you well with that. Have an amazing day. Talk to you very soon. Namaste.